What is up, YouTube? It is the Ville Outdoors here. Today is May 14th of 2024. I am back at a tributary of the Susquehanna River, and we are going to be fishing for some sucker fish today, at least for the first part of the day. That's what we're going to be attempting to be doing. The water seems to be up just a tad higher from when I was last here. We got some carp that are swimming around in front of me here. But carp is not the species of fish we are going to be after today. We're going to be after some members of that family, such as Quillback and Shorthead Redhorse. But we are not going to be trying to target the carp today. I may have to find some new worms from what I had brought with me, because I got these worms at a gas station and I don't think they are going to work very well. They seem to be pretty old and not fresh, so I may have to swap that out. But we're going to be baiting and waiting pretty much this morning. There's some rain forecasted for later today, so we'll see if we can catch a fish before the rain comes through. Well, I'm not sure where the fish went. Last time I was here, this spot was loaded with Quillback and Redhorse. I couldn't get one to bite last time, but I was pretty much using the wrong setup last time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive down closer to the mouth of the creek, try and find a spot down there and see if we can see any fish, and we'll see if we can find anything. Well guys, we aren't getting skunked. I just pulled up my first fish on this piece of worm when I was bottom fishing, and that is a little white perch right there. Just a tiny guy. All right, last look at our little white perch here. We're just gonna go ahead and give him the high dive off the little ledge I'm fishing off of. Came on a little bit of night crawler, not the Quillback or Redhorse we were looking for. So what I'm doing right now in an attempt to target these fish is I just have a little size 8 hook on the bottom, and what's holding on the bottom is a little split shot a few inches above the hook. This water is pretty cloudy right now, so you don't need a extended leader, but it seems like this water also has some small white perch that are just picking at the worm that we have set on the bottom. I really don't know how else to target these fish if sight fishing is an option. This water is pretty cloudy right now. There's a little fish on there. Another white perch, it looks like. Yep. There it is. Smaller than the last one. Nope. He's gonna flop back in the water. Guys, my suckers don't seem to be present today. I've seen a few carp in this area that I have my bait in right now, so I'm hoping that one of them will show up, but it looks like we have an 80% chance of rain coming in at 11 a.m. So my other idea was to head over to the dam that's around this area. Very popular and highly pressured fishing spot. If there's an 80% chance of rain at 11 a.m., maybe people clear out of there and I can get in there. I don't really like the shoulder to shoulder fishing, so if there's less people there, that's better for me. But I'm gonna give this another few minutes and then we'll have to skedaddle and go see if we can see anything at the dam. Guys, we got a fish on. I haven't seen it yet. No, he popped off. Dang it. That was my only bite of the day from a sucker. I guess I'll retie and try a little longer, I guess. This is not what we were after either. This is a fall fish. We are all too familiar with this guy. So we're gonna let him go. Oh, it's the first time I caught a fall fish bottom fishing, but I'm not surprised by it. Fell for the worm. Now we need to get baited back up and get back in there. I think I'm down to my last few pieces of bait. All right, guys, we have made it to the base. Well, not really the base of the dam. We've made it to the dam, the Conowingo Dam. You can see it there in the background. And the water is absolutely ripping through here. So my little 6-foot Ugly Stick Elite is probably a little overgunned here, but we're gonna be casting around this Castmaster, which is probably also heavily undergunned here. So I'm just gonna have to cast it far upstream in order to get the depth we're looking for here. A lot of herons around, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's fish. So just gonna toss this Castmaster out there and reel it back in and see if there's any fish. This current is just ripping through here. It's not even allowing my Castmaster to sink. So I may have to try something different. Yeah, the second I cast, my Castmaster is already like 50 feet downstream. It's not good. Oh, of course the heron over there gets a little shad. That's great. At least I think that's a shad. Well, guys, if you hear that siren, that means it's time to leave, and leave now. So we're gonna head up this rock face and probably go over to another creek, or maybe the creek we were at. That siren means that the water level is going to rise fairly quickly. And we don't want to be fishing when that happens. Oh, guys, I thought I had a fish there, but it was just a stick. I'm at this other creek now, closer to the base of the Susquehanna, but this one looks surprisingly cleaner. And there have been fish popping at the surface. I don't know what they are exactly. My one guess is snakehead, because there's a dead snakehead up on the bank. Kind of gives me the feeling that these could be snakehead that were popping at the surface. I haven't seen one pop in a few minutes, but they were popping pretty good just a moment ago. I don't have my big baits with me, so I'm just tossing around a little spoon out there right now. There's one that just popped downstream. I'm really curious to see what these are, because despite the water being relatively clear and these fish coming up to the surface, I still haven't gotten a good enough look at one to see what they are. I just saw a decent amount of quillback in this deep pocket here when I was up on this bridge to my left. So I got the bottom rig tied back on, and we're gonna see if we can get bit by one of these quillback. Well, guys, we got a fish on, but it is just a nicer white perch here, not the quillback we were after. If we didn't swallow the bait. And of course he did. Guys, we got a good fish on here. I believe it's one of our target species. If he doesn't pop off. Yep, that's one of them. Good boy. Yes! Look at that, guys. Our first ever shorthead red horse And my goodness, that is a beauty. Let's take a shot of this guy and then we're gonna let him go. Species 153 for me. It's not a quillback, but it is definitely a new species. Whew, that took a lot of effort. All right guys, look at this beautiful shorthead redhorse here. My first ever species of redhorse. Let me go ahead and release this guy. We got him right on the side of the mouth, perfectly hooked. There he is, look at those lips. You love to see it. Beautiful fish. We're gonna go ahead and let him go back in the water here. He doesn't want a good release, I guess. Come on, buddy. You weren't out of the water that long. There he goes. Back into the depths. Whew. Well, that makes the trip worth it right there. But I still got a little more time to kill. So I'm going to toss some worms around even further. And we're going to see if we can get the quillback to show up, because I saw him under here. So if there's redhorse, there should be quillback. Guys, that redhorse absolutely obliterated my hook. So I'm going to have to get a new hook on there before I put a bait on. Guys, we got a fish on. I can't tell what it is yet. Might be a small carp. I think that's what it is. Yep, small carp. Common carp. Not the quillback we're after. Let's see if we can get him in on this light line. Oop. Didn't like that. This is only a 6-pound test. Should be enough to handle this guy. He's just a little carp. We got some fight to him. First carp I caught in quite some time. Come on, man. Get up here. Nope, don't go on the rocks. Bad fishy. Oh, there he goes. Well, that wasn't the fish I was after anyway. Oh well. Well guys, I just lost my last 2 pieces of bait, so that is probably going to do it for today's video. Fished long and hard today. Started at, well, left my house at 6 o'clock. Got here, well, to the area at 7:20ish, 7:30ish, somewhere in there. Fished the first spot for quite a long time and didn't have any results there besides a few small white perch and a fall fish, which I don't even think I recorded for that. And then we went to the dam. The dam was absolutely ripping. I didn't see anyone catch any fish besides the herons pulling up a few small shad. And then I came here to this spot, walked down, saw some fish popping at the surface, but I couldn't figure out what they were and I couldn't get a bait to them. I assumed they may have been just small shad coming up to the surface to feed on like an insect or something like that, because there is some shad in this creek right in front of me, but they're mostly gizzard shad that don't really bite anything usually. So we came back to this spot. I walked onto this bridge that you see above me here, and I spotted some suckers that were in that deep pool, and sure enough, after one larger white perch, we caught one of our target species, the shorthead redhorse. My first species of redhorse and species number 153 for me. So that was pretty cool. And there at the end we hooked a small carp, but the hook popped out before we could get him in the net, but that's okay. We've caught carp before. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it wasn't the most exciting thing. We started off pretty slow fishing today, but that shorthead red horse was a pretty good size and made it all the worthwhile coming down here for me. So pretty good day. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next episode of the Ville Outdoors.